Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to cover one of the most popular and one of the oldest applications for the computer, Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is a word processor and it's an application for Windows 10 on PC and it's available for Mac. The same app is available. And I'm going to give you a brief overview on how to use it for a beginner. So if you give me about 20 minutes, I'll show you exactly everything you need to know on being successful with using Microsoft Word. Now, it is also available for iPhone, iPad, Android devices, and Chromebooks, but that's an app. It's not what we're gonna cover in this video. I'll make separate videos for that. The fundamentals do apply. Now, Microsoft Word is part of something called Microsoft Office. It's basically all the different applications that Microsoft makes bundled in one place. You could also get it with Office 365 subscription. That gives you Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, all in one bundle with other apps as well. So I'll put a link in the description to this webpage. To get Microsoft Word, you could try it for free and it downloads it to your computer. So on your Mac or your PC, it will download that version. It's available for home and for business. You could try it here. Now, a lot of computers already have Microsoft Word. So on Mac, for example, if you come up here and click the search bar, you could type out Microsoft Word and look for it that way. Or on PC, it's on the bottom, the search bar, type out Microsoft Word. If it's not there, get it from this web page that I'm showing you here. Now, Microsoft also has something called Microsoft WordPad. That's different, so don't use that. This is Microsoft Word, a different application than WordPad. When you launch Microsoft Word for the first time, this is the page that you're going to see. And right now I'm on the Home tab, and as you could see, I could open any one of these documents up here. The blank document is typically where I start, and it lets me create something completely from scratch, but there are these other things called templates. Now, as I mentioned, you could do a lot of different things with Microsoft Word, and what these templates do is they give you a starting point. So if you want to make a calendar, here's an example. If you want to make a resume, here's an example. And then you could edit a pre-existing document. That's what these templates are. And there are a lot of them. You could press more template up here and see all these different templates and use a search bar. Let me show you resume, for example. And if I press enter, look at, there's a whole bunch more that did not show up just when you first went in the template page. But I'm not going to cover templates here, but it is definitely somewhere you should start browsing after you get the fundamentals of Microsoft Word, because it does make things a little bit easier to get started. But here, I'm going to double click over here on the blank document. This is where I want to get started with Microsoft Word. Now, inside of Microsoft Word, let me just briefly show you around so you get an understanding of the window here, and then we'll start going through step by step on the fundamentals of how to get around. By the end of the video, you'll have a basic understanding and a good grasp of Microsoft Word. Let's look up here. The only difference between Mac and PC, by the way, is this top menu bar. On the left on a PC, you have something called File. It just says File on the left. On the Mac, the File is on top. But ultimately, the rest looks the same. Up here, look at this menu. This is where you'll spend a lot of time with making selections. So this is your menu bar up here. And inside of menus, each menu has this section called the ribbon. Okay, so you have your top menu here, and then inside of that, you have this ribbon. If I go through these different tabs on the menu, you see the ribbon changes based on what I have selected. Now you'll spend a lot of your time under the home menu here and on this ribbon. A lot of the fundamentals with font and font size and font color, spacing and so on is over here. But there are other things that I'll walk you through, like inserting picture is under the insert tab, and some other things for layout and mailing and review we'll look at in a second. Now, inside of each ribbon, there's also this divider line that divides different sections too. So these are useful because it puts things that are similar to each other in one group like this. So you could see it in other things. There's this separator. So this is one thing, this is another thing. So that's just something to pay attention to on how these are divided. Just makes it a lot more organized to look around. Then you have your actual page here. This is where all the words are going to go. Any pictures you insert, anything you do with your document is over here. And I want to point out the bottom of the page as well, because you have this slider right here. And this is how far you could zoom in or zoom out of your page. Some people like to look at their page zoomed out so they get a big overview of how their document looks. Some people like it more zoomed in. I have it somewhere over here, And then you have this bar on the side where you could scroll up and down on your document. And if you're zoomed in, you'll get one on the bottom to go left and right as well. And you have a couple other layout views here too. You could select. I usually just start with this one. It's called the print layout. This is what your page will look like too when printed. So let's begin typing. You see this flashing line here? This is where my document will start as soon as I start typing. So if I go on my keyboard and type, this line will keep moving and it will always end at the end. But I could use my mouse to bring it back and delete specific letters or words here. Typically, the first thing I do is type my title. So how to use Microsoft Word. So this is gonna be the title of my page. And then I'm gonna press return or enter a couple of times and type my first paragraph. Okay, so I typed out my first sentence. We're not gonna worry about styling just yet. I typically type out everything I want and then I go back and give it a style. So making things bold, changing colors, underlining, changing the font of the whole document, the spacing. We'll look at all those in a second. But I wanna show you what happens when you misspell something as you're typing it. You could actually right click on it and it will give you a spell check here to correct that for you as you type. So a lot of times I also use the right click option to correct things quickly. So I'll go ahead and correct this right now, and just like that, it's been corrected. Now, after a period here, I'll press spacebar and type my second sentence. And there you go. You get the idea here with typing sentences and words, and you could just continue to do so. Now, anytime you see this cursor is here, so if I type, it will begin here. But let me go ahead and press delete to delete that and go somewhere else within my document and click, and you see my cursor is here now. So if I begin typing, it will type right where I have this blinking cursor. So always pay attention to where this is, because wherever this is, that's where your typing is going to take place. So I'll go back to the end of my sentence. Now, why can't I go to a different line? This is just not letting me click on a different line. I do have to press enter to go to a different line, and it has to be something that's been created before. Otherwise, I can't just click anywhere within my document and skip lines. So to create blank lines, you just have to press enter and then type again here, and it will let you type again. But it won't let me go past anything that I haven't typed on before. So it's not like other documents where you could jump around anywhere you like. Anytime you could select things like this with your mouse, just select and highlight it and press delete. So you don't have to always go at the end and then press delete. You could actually select a section like this and press delete. If you ever make a mistake, you could go ahead and go to edit, and you could go ahead and undo what you did. So undo typing lets you undo it, and it will bring it back. Now, what about copying and pasting something from the internet, for example? Let me show you how to do that. Let's go to Wikipedia here, and let's say I want to copy and paste this into my Microsoft Word document. I could just select this here, this sentence. I'll select it like this, and then I could go ahead and right click on this sentence, and I could copy it. Now let's go back to Word here, and let me enter to make a different line, and then I could right click and then go ahead and paste it. Now you might also get this little icon. If you click it, it says keep source formatting. So in Wikipedia, Microsoft Word was in bold, or I could just keep it as plain text, and it will bring it up just like the rest of my document here. So I typically do it this way, so then I have control over how it's going to look when I format it myself. Now, anytime I copy something from a different website like Wikipedia, I will write something that gives credit to where I got that text from. Now, let's get into styling our document. Styling and formatting is really where you make a document look nice. So I'm gonna add some more words here, and then I'll show you how to do it. Okay, let's go ahead and style our very first sentence here, or our title. I'm gonna select it over here, and let's go on top. As I mentioned, the Home tab gives you a lot of useful options that you will use typically for styling. So where we could start is we could make our title here bold. We could also make it underline, and we could italicize it too. Those are all available to you here. Typically you want to center something like a title. So over here is your alignment. This is left. That means it's left of the page. Center puts it right in the middle, and right puts it all the way over here. So I typically want that center. Now I want this bigger, so your font size is over here. Right now is 12, which is typically a good default font size for the rest of your body of text here, but not for your title. So I'm going to change that to 18. I think that's a good size for this document. I'll leave everything as 12 for the rest of it. Now, what else can you do here? Well, you could change the color of the background. So let me show you. If you press this little arrow, you can make the background yellow like this. You could also, if I select the text here, change the color of the text too. So let's make this, for example, green. You see that if I click away, so yellow background with green text. Doesn't look great, so I'm gonna go to edit and undo, and I'll even undo the highlighting. So that's your highlighter, has a bunch of different colors for the background, and this is your text color, has again a bunch of different colors to choose from. Now, what if you wanna change the font of your document? I'm gonna select everything. I'm gonna leave the title as it was, but I'm selecting the whole body of my text here, and I'm gonna come up here and choose a different font, and you can see a bunch of different fonts. Arial is very, very popular in Microsoft Word with typing documents, so I'm gonna choose that. You can see it changed my document like this. So now if I type more, it's gonna actually revert back to what I had it on. So this is something to pay attention to, because if you select, it only affects what you're selecting. But if you don't select and you make a change, so if I change it to Arial now, it's gonna affect everything else from this point forward, not what I've done already. So that's something to really pay attention to. Again, if you select and make changes, it's only gonna change what you've selected. If you don't select and you make changes, it's gonna affect what you're doing from this point forward, not what you've already done. So typically you may want to start picking your font and font size in the beginning, or wait till the very end and style it. Typically what I like to do is do everything I want without any styling, get to this point and select and style. So I'll select this, for example, I'll make this italic and bold. And you could also use these options to create number lists, you could see that, or create bullets. So these two are very useful as well. So that's the fundamental of typing, but Microsoft Word is a lot more powerful in just typing text. You could actually bring in pictures, tables, shapes, and a lot more. Let's go to that now. If you come up here to the top menu again, we're going to go to Insert. So remember, the home page is going to let us style the text, a lot of useful options here. And the Insert is going to let us bring in things into our Word document besides text. So you see there's a picture here. There are tables, there are shapes, icons, and even 3D modules here, charts, and so on. Right now, I want to show you how to bring in pictures. Let's click on this. Picture from file is what I want to choose. This lets me bring in something that's already on my computer. So let me just choose this one right here, and I'll press Insert. And there it is. It brought a picture that was already on my computer from one of my other videos. And here, I could go ahead and grab the corners to resize that picture. You see that? And it doesn't let you squeeze the picture and crush it. It actually keeps the aspect ratio the same. Okay, so you could resize it or make it bigger. Sometimes the picture's coming really, really big, so you could actually resize it this way. You could right click on any picture and get a bunch of different options. One of my favorite options here is how it wraps around the text. So if you go to wrap text, it lets you place it behind text. And let me select this. I like this option because now it lets me move it anywhere I want within the document. If I don't select it, it's hard to put it anywhere I want. And there are other text options like text wrap square. Let me just show you what it does. It brings in the text this way. And let me show you one more here. Let's choose top of the text. There you go. So this began with this. Now we got the picture and then we got our text. So right click on it and play with text wrapping to get it exactly where you want it. And remember, you could always resize it any way you want. Let me go ahead and delete this for now. That's how you bring in a picture from your computer. There's one other useful option with picture. I'll go back to the Insert tab here. And let's go ahead and press this little arrow on the picture again. And this time, let's do online pictures. Because online pictures opens up the internet where you could do a search. So I'll search for Apple here and press enter. I want just a fruit here and look at all these different options that I get. So if I grab this now, I could press insert right here. So I selected it, press insert, and there you go. I got an apple. It actually created another page for me here because this is a really big picture. So let me shrink it way down. And if you get your squeezing like this, you could hold shift. And if you hold shift on your computer, it won't let you squeeze it like this. So I like to hold shift sometimes when I resize it if that happens. Let's go ahead and make it even smaller than that. And there you go, it's back on the first page. And you can see I can't just place it anywhere I want. So I'm gonna right click on it, wrap it again, and put it behind text. And now I could place it exactly where I want. And this is where my next set of words are going to appear underneath. So this is powered by Bing using online pictures here that you could choose. A lot of them will have a credit under it if you need to credit the author or the creator of the image. So explore the other things under the insert, like shapes. Look at all these shapes you could insert. You have these icons that is going to give you this big box over here of icons you could choose from, and 3D objects, which is really, really interesting. Let me just show you one of these. Let me insert this object here. And it takes a second, but it creates this kind of an effect here where you have a moving object. If I click away, look at that. So you could do these kind of advanced things with Microsoft Word as well. I'll delete that for now. Now I'll show you also under design, you could actually, after you type, choose a different design for your entire document, and it does a bunch of things at once. Let me show you. I'll select this. Look at that. It completely restylized my entire page based on these templates. So here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. So a lot of times you could just type plain words and then let these default styling take over for you if you don't want to manually go ahead and do it. So that's under the design tab, very useful. So I'll leave it like this. It created these indentations for me too that I could get rid of here, but it's basically, it press tab for me and these create these kind of indentation. Great for starting a paragraph. I'm gonna select everything, and you could actually change the spacing between lines here. So let me show you where that is. Go to the home tab. So I'm gonna press home, get this ribbon here, and it's over here, this one. It lets you change the spacing from 1 to 2. So this is called double spacing. If someone asks you to double space your document, this is all you have to do. Select all of it, double space it. And if you don't want to click and drag and select everything, there's an option in the edit menu that lets you select all. This selects everything in your document so you don't have to drag, especially if you have 10, 20, 100 pages, you're going to want to select all to affect any of this with styling or spacing. Two more really useful things I want to show you. One is word count. So a lot of times you want to know how many words is in your document. Come up here to the review tab, click this, and you could see word count over here. Let me select word count, and you could see it's going to show me how many pages, how many words, and even how many characters and lines and paragraphs I have in my entire document. Really, really useful. Now, header and footer. Instead of looking up here to try to find header or footer, I don't know which menu is going to be under. Is it under references? I have no idea. There's this option that says tell me. This is very, very useful. Anytime you can't find something, just type it out here. Click it. I'm going to type footer, and it's going to show me footer right here, and it's going to let me create it here. It's not even showing me where it's at in the menu. It's just letting me choose it here. Header, same thing. Let me choose header in this case. I'll click on it, and you can see it lets me put this header on top. So I could double click it, press delete, and type my name here, date, maybe classroom name. That will go here in my header. Now what's nice about header, you could see the footer over here. If I move myself to the top, you can see the footer section over here. Let me come back down and let's go to the top here. So anytime with this section right here, you could go ahead and type out what you want, and it will appear in all your different pages as the header. Okay, I'll go ahead and close my header, and it's still gonna be here, but now I could type anywhere else. Anytime I could double click on it to come to here and make edits to it. So you could see on top now, it created a section for me called header and footer. I could make any adjustments to it that I want. And you could always change the size of your header and footer. Those options are available in this new menu that appeared. I'm gonna go ahead and close that for now. Now let's look at saving our document, because this is an actual app on your computer. So it's just not saving all the time by default. So you need to go to File, and you need to go and Save As. If you save as, it's gonna let you create a document, give it a name up here, And all file formats for Microsoft Word documents are docx. The old Microsoft Word used to be DOC, so that's something to pay attention to. And then you could go ahead and save it somewhere on your computer. I'll save it on my desktop and press save. Now I could close this and then I could open that project again and it'll bring me back to everything I've typed before. So make sure you do that, you save it first. Then typically you could send someone that saved document or you could print it. I'll go to File and then you could go to Print over here. And this will show you exactly what your print looks like. This is depending on if you're on a Mac or a PC and what kind of printer you have. So this dialog box will look different, but all you have to do is link a printer up here to it and press print. You could also save it as, let me show you one more save as a PDF. So if you press this file format dropdown, you get a PDF file. So maybe you want to save it as a PDF, but that is not going to be editable anymore. So make sure you save it as a Word doc, this first one, and then save it again as a PDF, because the Word doc you could come back to and edit, the PDF you cannot, at least by using this technique that I've been showing you. You could use other methods for that. And that's your crash course on Microsoft Word. Make sure you check out my other videos on Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, and if you want to see more advanced training on Microsoft Word and learn all about all the advanced features of it, I'll put some resources in the description. Check out the description for that to learn more. I hope you found this useful. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.